All right, beautiful souls. We're going to be talking today about soul aligned selling and how to actually start to increase your revenue by getting into alignment with your value, the way that you sell, your price point, success. All of these things are needed for us to start to increase our revenue and start to increase the money that we're making in our businesses. So, I'm really excited to start to talk about this process because this is something that I've guided myself through, I've guided my clients through, and it's made a massive impact on their businesses. They've manifested in hundreds and thousands of dollars because they have now gotten into alignment with the thing that they're most excited to serve the universe with, right? And so it's a beautiful process. I actually want to walk you through a process that's going to start to really support you in getting into alignment with all of the things I just mentioned, your price, the value that you bring into every room that you walk into, your offers, selling in general as service, right? Let's start to dig into these beautiful concepts because it's really, really, really important. So if you've started to notice that your sales are not where you want them to be, like you want to be making more money in your business, then something gets to be tweaked and shifted a little bit for you to start to really connect into how to bring more and more money into your business by starting to tackle these things. So I want to walk you through this proprietary process that I have started to deeply channel from God's source universe. That's going to be something that's really, really, really potent and powerful to get you in alignment with receiving more money into your mind, body, spirit, and bank account. So let's dig into this. So first and foremost, if you are not making the money that you desire in your business, it's time to connect to, do you see the value in what you bring in your offers and into every room that you walk into? Because my guess is sometimes when we're selling things, we don't truly believe in the value of what we're selling. Like we might think that it's supportive, but if there's still a part of us that's like, oh, I shouldn't be charging this much, or can it actually make the impact that I want it to make? If we're questioning these things, then there's a deeper integration that needs to happen. So something super simple that you can start to do just right off the bat is start to collect evidence that what you're doing is supporting the people that you want to support most. So if you already have clients, that means start to create, even in your list in your phone, create like a notes section inside of your phone and start to collect evidence that what you're doing is working, right? Like a client just reached out to you and said XYZ was so supportive. The client just manifested, a $20,000 month, or a client just manifested, or this, that, and the other. And if you don't have clients at the moment, start to connect to you as your best testimonial. What have you done that has started to bring you more money? What have you done that you've noticed has been so valuable, so supportive, a massive breakthrough for you, right? Because we're walking ourselves through our own processes. So you are your own best client when you first begin. And as you have more and more clients, you're still your own best client, right? Because you're constantly evolving, and so is your business. And so what is really supportive is when we start to collect evidence that what we're doing is working. So first, create a list in your phone. And I like having it in my phone. You can journal it, but what I notice for myself is I'll get intuitive pings while I'm out and about, and I want to add it to the list right then and there. So it's kind of nice because our phone is always with us to have that list be something that we're constantly adding to, right? Another really tangible way to start to really connect to our value is, this is something I do every night before I go to bed. Is start to really connect to, what am I proud of myself for? Super simple, super easy, and we'll get into even more of the energetics here soon. But these are very simple, tactical things that start to connect us to the value that we bring into every single room that we walk into, right? Every room we walk into. So, Christina, I am proud of myself for, I'm proud of you for, and then I start to list out things that I did and also ways of being, right? Like, I'm so proud of you for launching this new thing that I know was scary. I'm so proud of you for healing what was in the way of doing that thing because I noticed you were procrastinating. I'm so proud of you for calming your nervous system when your son was having a tantrum, right? I'm so proud of you for being present when you were with your son. I'm so proud of you for being so deeply grounded while you're with your clients. Like, start to really notice all the things that you're doing day in and day out, who you're being day in and day out, so we can start to really connect to the value that you're bringing into every single room that you walk into. So that's step one. What's the value that you're bringing into every room you walk into just by being you, right? We don't need all the bells and whistles, just by simply being you. And you are enough exactly as you are, but we need to start collecting evidence that that's true because human condition is do more, do more, do more. I need to do more, right? But we need to start to connect to I'm doing enough. I did the best that I could today, and that is enough. I consistently have to tell myself that at the end of really busy days or at the end of some of my days where I'm like, I did the best that I could today, and that's enough, right? Because I know there's a part of me that's like, I could do more, I could do more, I could stay up later, I can do that. And then I have no energy to serve the next day. I've done that. I've burned myself out. And then then suddenly, you have to take a day off of work because you're not feeling good, right? Because you ran yourself ragged, right? At the end of the day. And so it's really, really important to start to connect to what is the value that I bring into every room that I walk into by simply being me, right? Amazing. Next, let's start to talk about success, normalizing success in our body. Let's talk about soul aligned pricing first. So sometimes when we're on sales calls and we don't feel like it's converting, it could be because we're not in alignment with our pricing. So what I like to do whenever I'm starting to really maybe up my pricing or I'm launching something new and I want to better connect to what do I want to price it as, I will either use my body as a pendulum or I will use an actual pendulum. And what I will do is I will hold the pendulum up and I will connect to, I'm just going to talk pendulum first, then we can talk about our bodies, how to use our body as a pendulum. But I will hold my pendulum up above my hand and I will essentially ask it a yes or no question as something I know the answer to. So let's rewind. If we're using a pendulum for any reason as a tool, I want you to acclimate to what your pendulum will do when it says yes and when it says no. This is a tool that I use for pricing. Okay. So before we even talk about pricing, let's talk about a pendulum as a tool. So this is a tool, and I want you to connect to what it means, how it moves when it's telling you yes, and how it moves when it's telling you no. So what you're going to do is actually ask your pendulum a yes or no question that you know the answer to. So what I always do is I say, my name is Christina. And then I see how my pendulum moves. My pendulum, specific to my energy, moves in a circle. So what that tells me is when I'm using a pendulum and it moves in a circle, that means yes. Then I will ask it a question that I know the answer to that is a no, right? I live in New York City. I see how my pendulum moves. And my pendulum will tell me, no, you do not live in New York City. You live in Dallas, Texas, right? So my pendulum is now telling me what it is that I need to know, right? How it moves when it's a soul aligned yes, and how it moves when it's a soul aligned no. So now how do I use a pendulum for pricing? Now, to rewind, if you don't have a pendulum and you want to use your body, you're going to basically stand up. You're going to have your weight evenly in both feet, and you're going to ask same yes or no questions. My name is Christina, and you're going to see how your body moves. Does it fall forward? Does it fall backwards? For me, if the answer is yes, my body moves forward, falls forward. For me, if the answer is no, my body moves backwards. So our body goes with us everywhere we go. So let's say you're on vacation or you're out of the country or you're not at home and you don't have your pendulum. You can use your body to start to ask it for yes or no answers, right? Now, how does this work with pricing? What I'll do is I'll pick up my pendulum and I will say one thing as I'm leaning into this answer. I will say, it is for my highest good and the highest good of all those connected to me and of the highest vibration to price my offer between $1,000 and $5,000, right? You want to actually start to, one, set the tone and say, it's for my highest good and the highest good of all those connected to me and of the highest vibration, because sometimes highest good feels terrible. It feels like a slap across the face. If anyone has ever been sick, they know that their body is trying to tell them something, right? Their body is trying to give them a message. And so essentially it doesn't feel good, but it is for our highest good. So I want it to be the highest good and the highest vibration. I want it to feel good when I'm getting messages. So we want to set that precedent because we don't want to learn the lesson through getting slapped in the face. We'd rather learn the lesson through loving energy. Now, sometimes we need the slap across the face because we're not listening to the intuitive pings. So it works both ways. But if we can have it one way or the other, my assumption is that you would rather have the loving embrace versus the slap across the face. So what I will then do when I'm pricing is I will say is for my highest good and of the highest vibration to price my one-on-one coaching for 6 months as, and then I give a range between $5,000 and $10,000, $1,000 and $5,000, or, whatever that range is that feels good for you. And then you see what your body and your pendulum does, right? And if your pendulum says yes, now you're going to start to narrow down the pricing. So let's say you said between 1,000 and 5,000 for one-on-one coaching. And now you're going to say, all right, it's for my highest good and the highest good of all those connected to me to price my one-on-one coaching for 6 months for $33.33. Maybe that number popped out to you and you just want to test that out. Or maybe what you do is you start to actually decrease the window. Maybe you do another range, but you decrease that window. That's going to be really supportive as well. So once you actually get the yes from your pendulum, from your body, your next step is to then allow yourself to normalize the price point in your body. Now, you can use this to normalize the price point in your body. You can use this to normalize success in your body. So what I do when I get that price point, because usually it's something that's exciting, but a little bit stretchy. So my body isn't totally on board with it, even though I receive the information from my highest self. So then what I do is I then use EFT tapping. So emotional freedom technique / tapping, same thing. You could literally go on YouTube and see emotional freedom technique or tapping, and they'll guide you through that process. And what I do is I visualize me sharing that price point and it going well. So I start tapping on these different meridians on my body. And what I'm doing as I'm tapping is I'm essentially telling my body it is safe to do this thing, right? It is safe to share with my client this price point. So I'm going to kind of guide you through this. So let's say we're tapping, we're walking through that whole process. So I'm tapping on my eyebrows and I'm saying, I'm so grateful because I'm booking out these sales calls. And the sales calls themselves are going really, really well. And as they're going really, really well, I start to share the price point. And the client, while they feel expanded, they're also excited about that price point and they say yes. And they're so excited and they decide to lean in right on that call. And so we book out the next call and now we jump on the actual coaching container and we have our one-on-one calls. And they're so grateful because their breakthroughs are massive and they're starting to notice a huge difference in their business and And what we're doing is we're walking through and normalizing the entire process from beginning to end. And what you're doing is you're telling your body it's safe to receive the money. It's safe to be successful. It's safe to lean in this way. This is such a powerful process that I channeled that has absolutely transformed my business and the business of my clients, right? So I 10 out of 10 recommend that you start to lean into this process. Essentially, to recap, this is what I do when I start getting into alignment with my offers, get into alignment with my price points. And this is something that's going to be really, really supportive for our sales calls. So this is just one portion of that sales calls process. But I wanted to share this with you and not overwhelm you with too much, but this is a really powerful jumping off point. So if you're not making the money you desire to be making in your business, it's time to do two things. One, find your value, connect to your value, have a list in your phone of all the things that you do that are valuable and so potent and powerful for your clients. The testimonials, start to create a list in your phone. Then at the end of every day, start to really connect to what you're proud of yourself for. Start to collect that evidence that what you're doing is supporting people in a really potent and powerful way. That's step one. Step two is get in alignment with your price point, right? So connect to your pendulum. Use your body as a pendulum to find out what that price point is from your highest self. What's in alignment with you, right? And actually, this is a 3-step process. So the third step is normalize the price point and normalize success in your body by using EFT tapping and start to feel that peace and calm in your body as you're sharing your price point with your potential clients, right? This has been a massive game changer in my business. This is a beautiful proprietary process that I just walked you through that I know is going to absolutely transform your business. So start taking notes, write this down, listen to this over and over and over again, and start to really connect to the value that you bring into every single room and your soul aligned pricing and the calmness you feel in your body around that price point. This has absolutely transformed my business, my clients' businesses, and it will absolutely transform yours because you're doing it in a way that's in alignment with your soul. You are receiving the information from your highest self, and you are telling your body it is safe to move forward in that direction. So I hope that this was supportive for you. If so, please leave that 5-star review. I am so eternally grateful for every single person that is tuning into this episode. It matters. I'm so excited to be a channel for you in this space. I ask to be a conduit and a channel every single time I step into this portal. And I'm so eternally grateful that I hope you receive something really potent and powerful and tangible from the space today, and that it deeply transforms your business so that you can serve the way that I know your heart desires to. Okay? I'm sending you so much light and love. And until next time.